Part 288. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2871. Good Guy. The president of the Guangming Society, Chu Sisi, looked completely nervous and anxious, and the emotion and admiration in his eyes could no longer be expressed in words. This kid Fang Fan has succeeded again. Why? This kid still has a little routine. It's completely a unique method. I have learned it for so long, and I have only learned a little bit. This kid is too mean. While Bai Piao was talking, he nodded in agreement and said, "Needless to say anything else for the time being, at this moment it seems extremely emotional. From a comprehensive point of view, this is indeed the case. Brother Bai Piao, it's not like this, is it? What you said is too mysterious. That demonized Shueotian is really strong. I was blown away just now without getting close." Zhuoqiuyao opened his mouth, and then sighed from the side. From a comprehensive point of view, isn't that the case? The situation is so clear and calm. That's because you're too cowardly. Just wait and see. After all, Fang Fan was able to kill even the powerful saints of the Dark Camp. That's it? It's not a problem at all. Bai Piao shrugged, and then sighed from the side. Zhuoqiuyao wriggled his lips, wanting to complain about something, but he couldn't say anything. Said I was too cowardly. Well, I can only admit it. Did the husband really rush up to pick up girls again? This guy just doesn't change his mind. Bad guys. Little Li Yulai bit her red lips, and silently hummed beside her. The surrounding discussions continued. On the arena, Fang Fan glanced at the goo worms flipping around. His eyes were very indifferent, and there was no sense of panic, but he felt very calm. In general, there is no panic or anxiety. A glance at the past, and even feel extremely dull. It's getting stronger and stronger. Now I really have the combat power of the 7-star sanctuary. Probably limited to the sanctuary realm at the beginning of the 7 stars. Interesting. Fang Fan curled his lips, while talking, then nodded silently, and the gleam in his eyes became more and more, the more interesting he looked. Fang Fan naturally has his own trump card, otherwise it would be impossible to be so calm. Only now, he still wants to see again. Fang Fan. Gee. You really showed your true feelings for that bitch. How? Can't bear it at this time. Hee hee, bitches are hypocritical. Today, one of you will die. Everyone will be killed by me. I didn't want to be like this at first. Who asked you to force me? I can't help it. I can only do this. Otherwise what can I do? If you lost to me just now, if you didn't fight so fiercely, you could actually save your life. But it doesn't work now, you have exposed my biggest secret. Anyway, it's already like this. I definitely won't be able to get out of Guangming Academy. I will definitely die, but before I die, I will put on my back. I will definitely put on my back. You all will die with me. GGG. This way I won't be lonely on the road to Huanquan. And you will definitely die before me. Shueotian, who was covered in goo worms, babbled for a long time, then walked over, licking his lips. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2872. It was foreseeable that on his lips and tongue there were shadows of goo worms moving. This visual impact seemed very powerful, and Fang Fan subconsciously took a deep breath after scanning the past. This looks really disgusting at home. Can't you just take it easy? I really can't stand it anymore. Fang Fan licked his lips, and didn't know what to say at the moment. Anyway, he felt a little scalp numb, that's all. Great goo god. Give me strength. Goo worms. Continue to divide. Continue to divide. Let me feel this majestic and vast power. Roar. The roar followed, and the excitement on Fang Fan's face was beyond words. Needless to say anything else, this gesture is vividly displayed. The attitude must also be fully and clearly defined. According to Fang Fan's current combat power, even if he gathers the power of 3 6-star early-stage sacred pets, he can usually compete with the 6-star mid-stage sacred pets, too. If it is strong, the pressure will be too great. And the Shueotian in front of him already possessed the battle strength of the first stage of the 7-star sanctuary realm, and now this is not in Fang Fan's consideration. Blood Azura Legion. Out. Fang Fan snorted secretly, and 7 men in blood-colored robes instantly appeared around him. Master. The 7 blood-robed men stood in the distance, talking, their eyes flickered with a different kind of brilliance, and the aura around them was revealed, and the whole body trembled. Needless to say anything else for the time being, this time the thoughts gathered here, the facial expression changes are very real. Everything is in place. The Blood Shura Legion has now been promoted to the 6-star peak sanctuary realm. If it's just the fighting strength of the 7 6-star peak sanctuary realms, it's still difficult to directly obliterate Shueotian, who is in front of him at the beginning of the 7-star sanctuary realm. But if you add some legion skills, it will be absolutely fine. Azura Unite. The leader of the Blood Shura Legion, Luohu, gave a cold shout, and then the 7 Shuras gathered together in an instant. Sura Unity, the exclusive skill of the Blood Shura Legion, 7 powerful Blood Shuras will be combined into King Shura under the leadership of the leader Rehu. The combat power will be increased by 2 levels. The duration will be 10 minutes, and the cooling time will be 24 hours. There will be no side effects. After using the Sura Unity skill, the 7 Blood Shuras of the 6-star peak sanctuary instantly possess the combat power of the 8-star peak sanctuary. What is promoted is not 2 small realms, but 2 big realms. And this is just the beginning. Sura will. Azura's will, increase 100% defense power for 10 minutes. Azura will after being cast, the defense power will be doubled. Azura's bloodline. Immediately afterwards, the 3rd Legion skill was displayed again. Azura's bloodline, powerful bloodline power, 100% enhanced combat power, lasts for 10 minutes. Azura will doubles the defensive power, while Azura bloodline doubles the combat power. The combat power is gathered here, which invisibly gives people a sense of conscious suppression. There was an invisible sense of panic and uneasiness in my heart. How can it be? Why am I still scared? What the hell is this? Fancy bells and whistles. It's a blindfold. It must be a blindfold. Call. Really, almost got fooled. Shueotian grabbed the goo worm that was flying around his face, his eyes subconsciously rolled around. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shuyu. Chapter 2873. The most important thing at this time is actually to convince yourself. If you can't even convince yourself, let alone others. At this moment, the situation in all aspects is still very real. Back and forth, that's all. It's best to be able to speak clearly, but it's okay to be unclear. The sudden appearance of the 7 Blood Azuras indeed brought a lot of shock to the surrounding people, especially the fact that these 7 Blood Azuras can be combined together to become a super large version of the Blood Azura, which is even more amazing. In the distance, Bai Piao subconsciously rolled his eyes. It started again. Fang Fan is getting more and more mean. Now there are more and more Fang Fan ways to put on a show. Why? I can't keep up with the times here. I used to show off by myself, but now I show off through the guards under my own hands. This scene is very exciting to watch. Even the guards under him are so cool. It's so good at pretending. I told you a long time ago, don't be fooled by Fang Fan. As long as this guy is involved in the matter, then he must be 100% sure. Otherwise, with his steady temperament, it is absolutely impossible to go up and do it. Bai Piao couldn't help but chant along side by side. Needless to say anything else, this feeling was too real. More or less, I still bring a little jealousy and envy. Bai Piao has always wanted to learn Fang Fan's cool method, but he has never entered the room. Brother Fang Fan is really not an ordinary person. There are such tyrannical guards under his hands. Brother Fang Fan, does he come from an ancient family? This tyrannical combat method is not something ordinary people can possess. It's not normal, it's really not normal. Incredible. Is the operation of the boss so tyrannical? A strong man is like a fellow. Zhuo Qiuyao took a deep breath, and while talking, his eyeballs turned completely. At this moment, while talking, his facial expression changed very realistically. Zhuo Qiuyao was not the kind of ignorant person either. As he was thinking about it at the moment, he subconsciously licked his lips. An ancient family. Don't talk about it. Bai Piao was stunned for a moment, then rolled his eyes and said. He knew exactly what was going on with Fang Fan. From the time when Fang Fan was not even a king, he has followed Fang Fan all the way, and he has witnessed Fang Fan's growth all the way. It is indeed unrealistic to say that there is no feeling in the depths of my heart. It's not long, but the promotion is too fast. All the way is in a state of full opening and hanging. I dare not say anything else, but in terms of luck, this kid has not lost to anyone. Being able to meet someone as lucky as Fang Fan Boy shows that our luck is actually not bad. Especially for someone like me who got acquainted earlier, the luck is even more vast. Bai Piao's eyeballs followed suit, and while talking, he nodded in agreement and said, anyway, it seemed like that was the case. There is quite a feeling of Wangpo selling melons and boasting. Can this be related to luck? Zhuo Qiuyao opened his mouth, feeling that something was wrong. Speaking of it, Zhuo Qiuyao's mouth is good enough, but when it comes to Bai Piao, it seems to be a little bit worse. In other words, each has its own merits. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2874. In the Arena. The Shuro Legion after Shura's integration has been directly upgraded by 2 levels from the original 6-star Peak Sanctuary. At this moment, they already have the 8-star Peak Sanctuary Realm combat power. Coupled with the addition of the skills of several other legions, at this moment they have already taken off in an all-round way to a certain extent. In terms of combat power, it is also slowly improving. Kill. The leader of the Blood Shuro Legion, Luo Hu, controls the ultimate body after Shura's integration, and at this moment directly attacks the horse-faced youth Shuao Tian. Blindfolding. It's all a blindfold. Do you think I will be afraid of this blindfold? Impossible. Absolutely impossible. Get out, get out. Get out. Look at how I will kill you. I have the power of the great goo god. In the arena, I am invincible. Billions of goo worms give me strength. Fight. 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 An urgent roar followed, and the horse-faced youth Shuao Tian wanted to fight in all directions. The fighting posture has been set at this moment, just waiting for one-time oppression. At this moment, there is an inexplicable sense of infinite panic in the mind. Whoosh. Whoosh whoosh. At this moment, around the horse-faced youth Shuao Tian, countless insect eggs vibrated violently. Followed by colorful goo worms tightly wrapping it. Immediately after these goo worms attached to him, his combat power exploded invisibly. 7-star mid-sanctuary battle strength. 7-star high-level sanctuary. 7-star peak sanctuary realm battle strength. Good guy. Is this Shueotian crazy? He has actually raised his combat power to the 7-star peak sanctuary. He borrowed the power of these goo worms. With his cultivation base of the middle 6-star sanctuary at the moment, I'm afraid these goo worms will be able to swallow him completely in an instant. Phew, who said it wasn't? It looks especially scary. The mentality exploded. So powerful. Really, I can't collapse. Even if an ordinary mentor is present, I'm afraid they won't be able to control this Shueotian. This demonized Shueotian has his eyes on that Fang Fan. That Fang Fan is in danger. Rushing over, the speed is getting faster and faster. My God, exploded. A wave directly exploded. So powerful. Wave after wave of howls followed, and these things on the scene were vividly displayed. Azura slash. The blood Shura in the ultimate body state never showed any timidity. The huge Shura knife directly slashed down, directly splitting the defenses of those goo insects around Shueotian. Immediately after, it was placed on his neck, and then cut directly. Stab. Click. Click. The piercing sound of flesh and blood followed by the sound of bone explosions. At this moment, that Shueotian was chopped into two halves. It was cut obliquely from the position of the right shoulder, and then most of its chest and head were connected together and chopped off. As for the other half of the chest and lower body, it is also called another existence. Immediately, the blood-red intestines and crazily wriggling were all displayed in front of the eyes. Followed by those goo worms frantically devouring the surrounding flesh and blood, devouring it completely. Gradually, all resolved. This kind of disgusting scene makes people feel like vomiting inexplicably at a glance. It's too disgusting. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shuyu. Chapter 2875. Ah. Ah. My body, my body. Damn it, damn it. Roar. You dare to hurt me. You dare to hurt me. Shueotian, who was wrapped in goo worms all over his body, actually knew the pain, and immediately let out painful hisses. After the neighing was in place, the empty eyes gradually filled with blood, and also filled with Fang Fan's infinite resentment. Now this guy has completely set his sights on Fang Fan, and has already regarded Fang Fan as his first target. The sound of death is circling crazily, giving people a sense of infinite oppression in the mind. Goo God returns. I will never die. The horse-faced youth Shueotian murmured to himself, and then his eyes showed an extremely crazy expression. After he roared wildly, his expression became more and more crazy. At this moment, I just want to completely swallow everything in front of me. Only in this way can I feel the slightest sense of joy in my heart. After the horse-faced young man howled wildly, those goo worms immediately gathered in his mutilated lower body, followed by forming his legs by themselves, and then made up for the lack of half of his chest. Needless to say anything else for the time being, this seems to give people a sense of mental oppression at the moment. It seems that there is no feeling. It's more interesting to watch. That's probably what happened. I have to say that this guy's vitality is really strong, and it is indeed not easy to maintain such a tenacious vitality until now. At least at this moment, when I glanced at it, my brain was buzzing. After the feeling is in place, the mentality will also boil in an all-round way. The surrounding audience also shouted crazily, "This scene is rare in 100 years." Followed by the Blood Shura ultimate body, he continued to slash a few times. Each time he was able to cut the horse-faced youth Shueotian in half, but it didn't take long for him to make up for his remnant body with those goo worms. Now this guy is like Xiaoqiang who can't be beaten to death, relying on his tenacious vitality to persist again and again. Fang Fan opened his mouth, wanting to complain all over at this moment. What the hell is this? Doesn't this look too weird? It also looks a little bit wrong. It doesn't look the same as before. Weird and inexplicable. The curiosity and shock of the surrounding audience also surged out, which seemed too strange. Weird, no brains. Good fellow, is it possible that this Shueotian has gained immortality? It can't be killed at all, unless it can be crushed into powder in an instant. These goo worms look too weird. Take off, this wave took off directly. There's something, it's so weird. Wave after wave of yelling followed, and the amount of complaints couldn't help but increase. Other words gathered in Xin, and it was basically silent at this moment. What else can I say? I can only silently choose to bear it. Brother Fang Fan will be fine. Why haven't the instructors arrived yet? What's all this fuss about? Now only the mentors can control this kind of scene. Zhuoqiu ran around in a hurry, the previous calmness disappeared without a trace, now there is only worry. If there is a slight problem with this, it will really be completely useless. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2876. Brother by Biao. Don't you claim to know Brother Fang Fan best? Let's see again, what's going on now? Call. You can't be blindly optimistic here. Whatever the situation should be, then what the situation should be. You have to take it easy here. It's necessary to be safe, the rest is bullshit. Brother by Biao. Please speak. You're making me so nervous. There won't really be any surprises. Call. Then I really have no choice but to die. Brother by Biao. Zhou Qiuyeo clasped his hands on Bai Biao's shoulders, while talking, his lips couldn't help trembling crazily, while talking at this moment, his eyes couldn't help but flicker with extreme longing. Don't shake me apart. It's really not that exaggerated. Why don't you believe? It's not as exaggerated as you think. You can be a little more cautious here. Don't be so nervous, your nervousness has made me unconfident. Fang Fan is always so floating. Don't worry, nothing unexpected will happen. It's not like you don't know how smart Fang Fan is. If anything happened, he would have pulled out long ago. Why are you doing this? Bai Biao babbled, and then complained all over from the side. Needless to say the rest, this feeling is basically in place. Only when the feeling is in place, it becomes so clear. Brother Bai Biao, what you said is simple. After all, Brother Fang Fan was called by me. If something happens to him, I will bear the blame. Then I will live in guilt in the future. Brother Fang Fan is here to help me. Call. I seem to want to rush up to replace Brother Fang Fan, but I can't even get close now. Shameful, too shameful. I'm older than Brother Fang Fan, I can't send a white-haired person to a black-haired person. Brother Fang Fan is our only belief. Brother Fang Fan is the most talented existence I have ever seen. It would be a pity if something happened to him. Zhou Qiuyeo was obviously moved by his true feelings. While talking, his nose burst into tears, and at this time, he had already filled in deep feelings. Brother! Can you stop being so showy? Give the white-haired person a black-haired person. Why is this? This. Brother Zhuoqiu, you really think too much. There's no need for this. Even if we are all cold, Fang Fan will never have any accidents. This guy is beyond our guess. Relax, don't worry. Bai Biao smashed his mouth, while talking, then followed with emotion. Needless to say the rest, all kinds of ideas are basically in place at this moment. Anyway, that's what it means. Pure and true. What we should do now is actually find a chair, sit down and watch the show. Even if Fang Fan really can't fight, can he still hide? His ability to hide is much better than mine. Don't worry. Bai Biao stretched her waist, and then comforted her from the side. If Fang Fan really had any safety risks, Bai Biao would have been the first to rush forward to block the knife. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2877. On weekdays, quarrels are quarrels, and quarrels are quarrels, but when it comes to the critical time when it is necessary to maintain the stage, then you should still give your strength. The overall situation still needs to be clarified. Brother Bai Biao, I won't say much else, as long as your mentality is really good. But the key is, can it really be so casual? I think there is a problem here. If you are not careful, there may be a big mess. Wipe. Zhou Qiuyao wriggled his lips, and then let out a mouthful of turbid air. His facial expression changed very realistically. In the arena, Xiao Qiang's horse-faced youth Shuai Tian, who claims to be unbeatable, has almost been completely reshaped by those goo insects at this moment. From the outside, it looks like nothing. This looks like something. Isn't it weird? For the rest of those things, you can still say a hammer. If you can't collapse mentally, you're nothing. Ha ha ha. Ah ha 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 ha. Cool. It's really cool. Come on. Go on. Go on. Why don't you have the guts? Hee hee, do you know you're afraid now? I can't die. I am immortal. Unless the true God descends. Otherwise, I will be resurrected forever. What I have is the power of Goo God. Fang Fan. You will die in my hands sooner or later. I will consume you slowly, I will consume you slowly. Gee, I'm not in a hurry. I don't believe that this big guy can still protect you all the time. Sooner or later, I will be defeated, so here is my chance. Right now is my chance. Opportunity after opportunity. Kill. 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 Completely kill. Roar. The roars followed one after another, and the horse-faced youth Shuai Tian still looked quite arrogant. The blood Shura in the ultimate state has already tried his best to attack, but this horse-faced youth Shuai Tian really looks a little weird. From this level, it is indeed extraordinary. The weirdness is still gathering. A little carelessness may still be involved in it. Surah Unity has a time limit of 10 minutes. When the time comes, it will be cold. At that time, there will be no Azura Unity exclusive Legion skill bonus, and the situation will only get worse. Fang Fan narrowed his eyes, thinking to himself, his eyes flickered rapidly. At this time, it is really necessary to find some solutions, otherwise Fang Fan will really have to flee to the small world of Shushan Pavilion when the 10-minute deadline is reached. This guy is actually relying on these goo worms. The regeneration ability of these goo worms is too strong, so it will be difficult to clean them up again and again. It would be great if I could think of a way to solve this problem. Fang Fan thought in his heart, rolled his eyeballs, and then nodded silently. His facial expression changed very realistically. Thinking about it this way, it seems that many things have gradually become clear. Thinking so far, the idea also took off in full swing. Things aimed at goo insects. Fang Fan pinched a goo worm that was crawling up his legs, his eyes showed a hint of confusion. What else can I do with this thing other than trampling it to death? Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2878. If you kill it with a knife, all kinds of eggs will be derived from this goo worm. Only needing some energy, these eggs can quickly grow into brand new goo worms. Such one after another, it will only make the scalp tingling. If it continues like this, it's over. Fang Fan exhaled, thinking to himself, the corners of his mouth twitched subconsciously, and all kinds of thoughts in his heart couldn't help but increase. It must be completely resolved, once and for all. Water? Drowning? It doesn't seem realistic. Fire? What about flames? Fang Fan's eyes lit up, and then a ray of red fireworks appeared on his fingertips. This is a flame transformed with spiritual power. Whoosh! Whoosh whoosh! Although these goo worms are unwilling to approach when they feel the flames here, they obviously have open flames. Fire! Fang Fan gave a cold shout, and then a lot of flames appeared in the palm of his hand, and then collided with those goo worms. Although these goo worms were a little afraid of these flames, the flames transformed by Fang Fan's spiritual power could not cause any substantial damage to them. In general, in a state of entanglement, the expression on Fang Fan's face gradually changed. This looks a little interesting. All kinds of them are also extraordinary. Ha ha ha. It's useless. My goo worms are invincible. This is a gift from the great goo god to me. It's impossible for you to deal with me. Absolutely impossible. It's no use. It's no use at all. Get out. Get out of here. Ha ha. Ha 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 ha. Cool. So cool. Goo worms are invincible. Invincible. Great goo god, please grant me strength. I am willing to sacrifice everything I have, including body and soul. I am willing to be enslaved by you forever. I want power. I want revenge. Revenge. Shueotian roared violently. While roaring, the excitement on his face was beyond words, and the whole person became crazy. Needless to say about other things for the time being, this kind of mentality is very pure, and what it expresses is actually that meaning. Pure and true. It's all here. Follow the full takeoff. The quality of the flames I released is indeed a little worse. But it doesn't mean I can't do anything to you. The hell three-headed dog roars. Out. The corners of Fang Fan's mouth raised up all over, and then he directly summoned a divine pet under his command. The hell three-headed dog in the first stage of the 6-star sanctuary. Roar. Owner. The hell three-headed dog came over with a roar, wagging its tail, and then rubbed against Fang Fan's trousers. Release your samadhi true fire. Let's have a hearty burn. Burn everything in front of you thoroughly. Burn these goo worms into ashes. The corners of Fang Fan's mouth were raised slightly, and while he was talking, he silently nodded, and the smiles on his face grew more and more. Interesting, indeed interesting. It looks like you don't have a will. Let it all take off in full swing. What the hell? 3 dog heads. What kind of monster is this? Fang Fan, you have nothing to do, right? So now you can only rely on this messy thing to scare me. Go to hell. The vicious look on Shueotian's face grew more and more, and then he launched a full-scale charge. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2879. Pure in attitude. Feelings are also taking off in an all-round way. It looks so beautiful at the moment. When Shueotian, who was covered in goo worms, rushed over, the hell three-headed dog roared out. Roar! 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 The 3 heads of the 3-headed hellhound roared, and red fireworks began to spit out from their mouths. When the 3 fires gather together, it is the real fire of Samadhi. When those goo worms touched the real fire of Samadhi, there were bursts of crackling sounds. Slap! Clap clap clap! It was as if some food was being fried, and the sound of the explosion seemed quite rhythmic. Following the sound of the explosion, there was a burst of meaty smell coming from the surrounding area. These goo worms are all cooked. Immediately afterwards, the bodies of these goo worms became scorched black, and finally began to turn into piles of fly ash. Ashes scattered around, indicating that these goo worms were completely wiped out. The true fire of Samadhi was just an introduction, and then the flame ignited in all directions, and soon spread all over Shweotian's whole body. At this moment, the goo worms all over his body were being burned to ashes bit by bit. What the hell? Get out! Get out of the labor! Goo worms, obey orders. Destroy! Destroy this flame for me. Water, yes, water can put out fire. I have water. Shweotian trembled his lips, then hurriedly shouted from the side. Immediately, Shweotian took out a water bag and frantically poured sweet spring water on himself. Bottle after bottle, tirelessly. But at this moment, the flame on his body was not extinguished, on the contrary, there was a trend of intensifying. This looks very different. With a glance at the past, the whole person was stunned. This, what to do? How did it become like this? Why did it become so? Seeing this, the body tightened completely, and the corners of the mouth also twitched. Ah! Ah! It hurts. It hurts. This damn flame. Extinguish. Extinguish quickly. Get out. Get out of here. Damn. Damn bastard. Why is this? Why is this? Get out. Don't do this. Get out. A roar followed, and Shueao Tiandong's face flickered with ferocious pain. He collapsed on the ground and began to roll wildly, but the real fire of Samadhi intensified on him. Naturally, it is not so easy to extinguish it at this moment. These goo worms contain very pure energy. When these energies touch the real fire of Samadhi, they provide the core impetus for the real fire of Samadhi, and then the burning speed of the real fire of Samadhi accelerates. The picture in front of me suddenly gathered together. This Shueotian is suicidal. How arrogant I was before, how anxious and painful I am now. It is conceivable how painful it feels to be scorched in the flames. After a little perception, the whole body curls up completely. I couldn't stabilize my mentality, and suddenly became extremely painful. Help me! Help me! I'm in so much pain. I don't want to die. It was all the goo god just now, yes. It is the goo god who is bewitching me, this is not what I want to do. It has nothing to do with me, none of this has anything to do with me. Hurry up, put out this flame. I feel bad. Bang bang bang. Shueotian bumped his head on the ground and made a loud noise to show the madness in his heart. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2880. At this moment, Shueotian's eyes have become extremely red, while talking, he roared crazily. In the mind, feelings are gradually erupting. The intense burning pain almost drove him crazy. Shueotian's lips trembled, his complexion became ugly for a while. The burnt smell coming from all over his body is very real. Everything, followed by leaping into view. It's just that it's useless to cry out painful condolences and prayers now, who cares how you feel? All followed by total silence. Silence is the best lamb. At this moment, this situation will be revealed virtually. You can still live if you do evil by the sky, but you can't live when you do evil by yourself. You have always wanted to kill me, you are my enemy, why should I save you? After saving you, wait for you to continue killing me. Your thinking is really weird. Fang Fan glanced at the horse-faced youth Shueotian, and then said indifferently from the side. Needless to say the rest, this gesture has been silently revealed. After all, it's actually just such a gesture. Frankly, but fearlessly. You don't save me. You don't save me. Fang Fan. Ah. These are all the pain you brought me. Fang Fan. I remember, I remember. Wait. You wait for me. Fang Fan, you bastard. Fang Fan. Whirring. I'm a ghost and I won't let you go. Fang Fan. Let me seize the opportunity sooner or later, I will kill you. Kill you. The roaring sound spewed out from the mouth of the horse-faced youth Shueotian, showing the anxiety and pain in his heart. At this moment, this kind of idea deep in my heart is already erupting in an all-round way. He rushed towards Fang Fan's position like a lunatic, his eyes were full of hatred and resentment. It's just that what he's doing at this moment is destined to be in vain, everything is in vain. Fang Fan followed with a sneer, then curled his lips aside. This looks more and more interesting. It looks so exciting. When this Shueotian rushed over, the hell three-headed dog roared to the sky, and the Samadhi true fire continued to burn even more violently. Under the full coverage of Samadhi true fire, the current picture gradually became clearer. The howling of the horse-faced youth Shueotian gradually subsided, at this moment he could no longer scream, the whole person was in an extremely quiet state, and the sound of breathing gradually became extremely weak. In the end, even the sound of breathing could not be heard. There are only patches of black coke in front of my eyes. Everything is a foregone conclusion. The endless fire of Samadhi in the arena shows what has happened here. At least on the surface, it looks extremely unbelievable. The surrounding spectators had already hid far away at this moment. There was no one in the front 3 rows, and they basically hid at the door, obviously preparing to evacuate at any time. This situation is too strict, and if you are not careful, you may be involved in it. At that time, it will not be something that can be settled in a few words. What that will turn out to be by then remains to be seen. If you can't hold back mentally, it's useless to say 1,000 words and 10,000. Fortunately, at this moment, all risks have been eliminated in the cradle. The end is the best gesture at the moment. Those goo worms were also buried in a sea of flames.